What's up, guys? This is Warrior, and today I just wanted to showcase a cool ending from a recent Treasure Raider match I had. Just go over some of my thoughts about item placements on one of my favorite builds in the game right now, which, as you guys can see, is 4 Punisher, 6 Assassin, 3 Elf, 2 Warlock, 2 Undead. So, very strong build, I think, in Treasure Raider. It's one of my favorite builds to go, just because it uses a lot of really powerful units. And I hit the record button at the very end of this game here just because I noticed I was about to 3-star my Devourer, and I thought it would just be a pretty cool ending. So thought I had a couple things to talk about, and I'm going to pause the video and talk about them as we're moving on. The first thing I will mention is you'll see the 3-star Spirit Bear right in the middle there. That's coming from a legendary item called Spirit Scrolls, and in my opinion, a very slept-on item. It's a really great item to pick up. I almost always pick it up when I see it. Never really seen anybody else use it, but having a free 3-star bear just pop out like that is actually really nice. He's provides a lot of CC with his 25% chance to stun, and he also is just a great unit stat-wise to have in there. So, really powerful item. I'm going to go ahead and play it now. So first I'll get over to my formation. So that's the Spirit Scroll staff right there. That's one giving Nightbear. So there I find a Devourer. Obviously I'm just going to sell it. I don't have enough gold to really roll and see what I hit. I'm just going to get the 3-star Devourer. I already know that this game's over at this point too. So I'm really just being greedy at this point and trying to get the best possible lineup. But pretty much no matter what happened, this game was over. So one thing to notice about playing Treasure Raider, it's really important. Whenever you level up your units like that, you bring it to the next star level, all the items pop off of it. So just be cognizant of that and make sure you're putting your items back on whenever you star level. It's pretty annoying, and I've forgotten a few times, but whenever you upgrade a star level, it doesn't matter if it's 2-star, 3-star, just put the items back on the unit. So I'll go back there real quick and just show my items on Devourer here. So that first one is the Corrosive Blade. That I think is easily one of the best items in Treasure Raider right now. It's one that gives 200 damage and makes it so your attacks can't be dodged. Obviously with Sword Dancer's prevalence as well as Elves, you really want to have that item. It really helps in taking down any enemy Sword Dancers. The Lone Wolf Helmet, that's a pretty solid unit item, especially on 3-star units, just because it amplifies the shield that it gives them. It amplifies 30% of their health. So the higher star a unit is, the more effective that item's going to be. And not the best item in the world, but it works for what I was trying to accomplish, especially having Devourer front and center like that. And then the third one is the, I think it's the Vorpal Blade, something like that. It's one with 20 attack speed and reduces mana on hit. Just a solid item to have with some attack speed. The reason I'll talk a little bit about formation real quick that I have here. Obviously with Assassins, you can put them front line and try to distract units and stuff if you want like that, but they're fine to just throw in the back line. And then I tried to set up where the units would kind of funnel in towards the middle and let my Devourer splash damage on them. So I'm going to keep playing here. So you see, I had the other Vorpal. The only other items I really had was the other Vorpal daggers there, and just have one on Lilith. Vapor Blade. That's what it is. I don't know where I got Vorpal from. The reason I want to throw it on Assassin, well, Lilith's a good unit for attack speed anyways to try to get her ultimate to come up faster, but also she has splash damage, so demons are obviously very good units to put items on in when you're going Punisher. There's the Spirit Scroll staff. I had just gotten the Sword Dancer at this point. I think I do put a Vapor Blade on her over from the Nether Prince just because the Nether Prince was dying so fast anyways. But would have liked to get that Sword Dancer stacked out more if the game had gone longer. But I'm just going to play it here. So this is actually going to be the last round. You'll see, it's just an absolute domination. They get blown up so quickly. But what's really nice about how this game ends is the other person is fighting my mirror image, right? This person knocked out easily. I'm like, all right, well, I might be able to get another couple upgrades or do something before this game's over. Nope, my mirror image hates him. Not seen that once in this game yet, or since the update. So if you guys don't know, whenever you're facing a mirror image, it's going to be when there's an odd amount of players, and one player will face a mirror image. So the mirror image doesn't get any of the synergy bonuses. So it's still the same units, still the same star levels and everything, but they just have no synergies active when you're facing them. So pretty much facing a mirror image is almost a free win, unless you're severely far ahead. A mirror image is always going to be extremely easy to beat. I don't think I've ever lost one, but to see it happen right like this at the very end, to just double knock them out, just completely crush them, and the mirror image without even needing Punisher, without needing 6 Assassin, Warlock, Undead, anything, it still 8-0'd him. Like, it wasn't even close. I mean, it just goes to show how extremely powerful this build is, especially in Treasure Raider. It's just as good in the other modes. It's just a little bit harder to get going. Not to say it's easier in Treasure Raider, but the items that you get in Treasure Raider, if you use them well, then I think you can supplement your mid-game a little bit better, so that you have a little bit more consistently to get to late game and use this build, because it is very strong in the middle and late game too, but you need to hit your certain units, you need to hit your 2-star Devour, and then you need to make it all the way to level 10 before you can put 6 Assassins back in. So you'll have 4 Punisher and 2 Warlock in pretty early, and then three Assassins, so that's a really good build in the mid game, but you do need to get all the way to level 10 in order to have the full build. But like I was saying, especially in Treasure Raider mode, that what makes this build so good is having those extra items. So Devour scales extremely well off of any attack kind of damage items. With his huge splash damage attack range, it's just, he scales probably one of the best scaling units in the game, as well as Sword Dancer. I'm just going to go back to the formation here so we can talk about the units. Oh, let me go back. Sorry about that. So there's a few different ways you can run this build as well. I mean, you can run it with an Executioner, and instead of the Nether Prince, have the Avoid Doom, and then mess around a little bit like that to change it around. Executioner is an excellent unit. I just personally don't think he can really fit in the 6 Assassin variant. So this is the build that I like to go, just because of how OP Assassins are realistically. Is you don't even really need a front line with them. Like, the way it works is, as long as you have Warlock and a decent enough front line to survive for a little, it doesn't even need to be a front line. You can have everything on the back line. Like, your units are going to jump in the back and just go through everything. So Devourer and Punisher in general works really well with that strategy, because he can just weaken everybody a lot with his AoE attacks. He has a second life come through pretty much when he ultimates, especially when you have Warlock and he gets spell vamp from that spell. It's almost always a full heal. So it works really well for the strategy, and especially, like I was saying, in TR with all these items, it just has one of the best ceilings, the power ceilings, because there's so many units that use items extremely well. All the demons are going to use items well because of their splash, so they're going to naturally scale well with any kind of attack speed or damage items. Even Nightingale is a Punisher as well, so she does have splash damage. Doesn't gain mana, so not one of the priorities in my opinion, but I think she's good user of armor items, because it doesn't really matter if it doesn't matter if she takes less damage or anything like that. Some other good item uses, I really like the Freezing Axe. It's 125 attack damage, 25% chance to freeze a unit for 2 seconds, I believe. I usually throw that on Sword Dancer, as well as another Corrosive Blade. I'll get as many of those as I can, just because of the huge attack damage on them. Vampire's Tooth is really good on any of the units too, with the extra lifesteal, as well as the true damage, and the same with Fanatic's Charm. I grabbed those early, but this game I saw a ton of the Vapor Blades, as you saw. So that's what I went with this game, and it ended up working out really well. The Vapor Blades are extremely powerful. just throughout the entire game. The Grim Ring is another really nice one because that actually steals 30 mana per hit. So you put it on a unit like Sword Dancer and it will steal the mana from it. And then it has like a splash, give mana to people that it does once per match, but it actually continues to steal mana on auto attacks after that. So another very strong unit on Sword Dancer, as well as any of the defensive items. I've been messing around with the Phoenix Cloak on her, which I honestly don't think is that great. I wanted it to be good, but it never really seems to actually be that useful. It's like she comes back with 30% health, and by the time she is using it, it's usually she's the last unit left. So the times that I did try to get it to use on her, I ended up even just switching it on to like the Misfortune or Avoid Doom or somebody else, because I don't think that it really works that well on her. She just ends up standing up and getting one shot if she ends up dying alone to begin with. Echo Charm is another item a lot of people talk about, 50% off of your cooldown. Now, what I've found with that item is that it doesn't really actually do anything unless you're talking about a unit with like a 20-second cooldown or something like that. So if you use it on a unit with a long cooldown, I could see that being somewhat useful, but having like Sword Dancer's like she's not going to go back up to 100 mana fast enough to make use of that extra cooldown time. So it's going to be the mana regen, not the cooldown time, that's limiting her from using her ability. So unless you get some serious other mana items on her, or you get something like the her ultimate only uses 50 mana, though she can't really use that item that well either. So not a huge fan, to be honest, of the Echo Charm. Maybe I could see it being used on like a Void Doom or something like that, like I said, with like a huge ultimate cooldown and figuring out a way to cast it twice, but I think it sounds better than it actually is in theory. Just get the items pure stats. Really want stats. Any of the defensive HP items, those are all good to throw on a Sword Dancer, on your main tank or your main carry. Yeah, but I just wanted to share this video just like because I said with the double knockout at the end being pretty cool way to end the game. I've never lost to a mirror image, and I've never seen anything like that happen in the game where that game ended by somebody losing to a mirror image. So I thought it was pretty crazy, and like I said, I thought it was a good opportunity to just talk about some of the strengths of this build as well as some of my thoughts on the current items in TR. I really love the item system. I hope they bring it over to Turbo and Ranked Classic. So optimally, I think that the game could support both of the item systems and just toss this one on top of the existing item system. So you'll get the random item drops from mobs. That'll happen randomly throughout the game, and those will still be the same with they stack and force. And then you have the item choice at the end of each neutral round. So that would be a crazy amount of power they're adding, and like maybe they would need to cut down on how often regular items drop, but something like that system I think could work perfectly, and there's no reason not to have these items with way more strategy depth than the current items in the game implemented into the ranked mode. I think they're just better in every way. So yeah, I haven't put any videos out there for a while, but I'm planning to keep doing more, and catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye. You know what, we'll watch this one more time. I said bye and then watch this, but geez Louise, that just doesn't get old. That splash damage, man. You really want Lilith and Assassins in the Punisher build like this, just because she gets so much damage from those splash crits. Boom. 8-0 mirror kill. The double knockout. Peace.